Hello everyone, welcome to Analog IAS Current Affair Analysis for 15th December 2020. In this video, we'll be discussing about how taxation policy should be in the times of this pandemic, how the concept of welfare state should be given a priority. The second one is with respect to the latest NFHS phase 1 result and how the hunger issues in our country have become even more severe in the times of this pandemic. So, this article titled Tax Policy in Trying Times is about how our taxation system is skewed in the favor of those who are already earning well. Just to put things into context, the basic aspect of taxation is to collect money from taxpayers and redistribute it. So, this is the logic behind a welfare state. Now, in an extremely socialist state, private entities are severely constrained. On the other end of the spectrum is the capitalist regime, wherein the large companies are having a free run, where there is a almost tax-free environment, like in the case of Dubai. India, because of the existing inequalities, cannot afford to be on any end of the spectrum. Therefore, in 1991, it has moved towards a mixed economy. Now, what is this mixed economy? This mixed economy model focuses on creating enough opportunities for the private sector, considering the fact that we have such a huge market for almost every product, because we are a population of nearly 140 crores right now. So, private entities' existence is must in our country because the government cannot deliver almost every good. In this context, we also have another conundrum in the form of balancing between the haves and have nots. India has some of the largest inequalities in the world because a latest Oxfam report has said that 1% of Indians own almost 50% of the wealth, or 50 to 60%. In this context, the rest 99% are severely constrained because of lack of resources, and a significant aspect of this fall amongst the middle class, and the rest of the crowd have very dilapidated conditions, where even in some cases extreme poverty situations are also seen. So, given this setup, how should be the taxation policy? As soon as the pandemic has stuck the economy across the countries, a lot of European countries, especially like Germany, have shelled out a huge amount of their GDP as cash directly into the hands of people. So, this is to ensure that they pass through this pandemic. People who have lost jobs can compensate for the lost jobs through this period of pandemic during lockdowns. So, India was also expected to take up certain measures like that. We did give out certain cash benefits, but only to a limited extent because of our constrained financial resources. So, the other end of the logic was the government wanted to create an environment which is conducive for carrying out business in our country, which will create jobs. Now, the debate was between, is the priority to favor the MNCs, or we have to put money directly into the hands of the poor, because these poor are the most vulnerable. Ideally, MNCs are expected to give jobs and empower people and pull them out of poverty. So, when poor people get jobs, they will definitely come out of poverty and their situations would change. This is a long term change. But what about the short term? They have lost their livelihood because of the lockdown. A lot of migrants have gone back to their places. And to compensate for this, the government announced that it would be giving out free food grains. But this was simply not sufficient because we don't have enough data with respect to migrants. So, there have been subsequent reports about how the food grains that were distributed amongst the poor people were not reaching them because of this lack of identification based data, wherein the beneficiaries were not identified properly and the grains did not reach them. On the other end of the spectrum, this year there was a significant rise in the high net worth individuals, especially amongst software driven companies. So, cloud based technologies and software companies where digital services were provided in the time of the pandemic have grown significantly. Take, for example, the growth of Zoom. There are a lot of services like Zoom, but the right moment and right opportunity was captured by Zoom. Similarly, we can think of Paytm during demonetization. So, this crisis has actually accentuated the differences between haves and have nots. In this context, the measures that the government has taken to support the MNCs with the hope that they'll create enough jobs is a good measure in the long term. But if you take a look at the taxation policy as such, we also have to take care of the poor. In this time, when the companies are growing multifold, the government, according to the view of the author, should tax them more. This is because the reason is simple. If we don't take care of our population, this is going to have a long lasting impact on our economy, because inequalities are definitely not good for any societies. This is where crime and revolutions breed. Now, if you take a look at how the companies that have benefited from this pandemic grew, their wealth grew multifold. It is not that they're commensurately creating enough number of jobs. So, in those kind of companies, if they're not creating jobs, either the taxation should be linked to the number of jobs that they're creating, or it should either be driven by a higher GST. But again, the argument about increasing the GST for a lot of these items is ultimately the consumer will be bearing the burden. So, direct taxation in the form of corporate tax, etc., should be increased to this MNCs. That is the basic logic behind this. If you understand how IT works, IT Act, this was framed way back in 1961. It has not been revamped ever since. Today, we have multiple agencies and multiple sources of revenues for people. Yet, we are still stuck in this archaic law of 1961 with minimal amendments. So, this budget is an opportunity to relook at this and probably come out with a formidable IT Act. That is the gist of this article. The next article, titled Hunger Alarm, is taken from the Indian Express, and this is regarding the National Family Health Survey, which is brought out by the Ministry of Family and Health Welfare. It has come up with round 5. The data that came out right now is just phase 1 data. So you have to understand how this National Family Health Survey works. So this is a very large scale survey, and multiple rounds of surveys are conducted as representative samples across various states in our country. This started in 1992, and ever since 4 rounds of survey came out. This is the 5th survey. The last survey came out in 2015-2016. So this is a comprehensive database of this various parameters, and it provides the state as well as national information for the entire country on parameters of social development like fertility, infant and child mortality, practice of family planning, maternal and child health care, etc. So this is carried out as discussed by the Ministry of Family and Health Welfare along with International Institute for Population Sciences in Mumbai. This is the nodal agency for this activity. So in the first phase of results, one of the most alarming result is the increased rate of hunger in our country. Now, hunger is characterized and manifested in various forms, which are also used by global level indices like Global Hunger Index. The problem in India is malnourishment. One is undernourishment, and the other one is overnourishment. And also, this overnourishment aspect has a element of undernourishment also. There is this concept of hidden hunger. Let me explain what these are in detail. So when you're talking about undernutrition, we are basically talking about lack of access to food. But when we're talking about obesity, it is overindulgence in certain amount of foods and underindulgence in certain amounts of food. For example, micronutrients and protein are not emphasized enough in obese kids. So there is this aspect of hidden hunger. On the other hand, there is an increase in stunting and wasting. Stunting means the height of the kid does not increase, and when we are talking about wasting, there is less physical growth or less muscle growth. And this is a phenomenon that is witnessed across several states, and at the same time there is also rise in obesity in women and children. This is a serious problem for our country because we are talking about a phase of demographic dividend. We don't want our population to have health problems when we are expected to reap the benefits of this demographic dividend. And the alarm that is raised because of this hunger issue is very serious across all the 17 states that have been surveyed. And this is worryingly even more severe in richer states like, say, Kerala, Gujarat, Maharashtra, Goa, and also Himachal Pradesh. So the share of underweight and wasted children has gone up in majority of the states, which is a serious cause of concern. Another problem is the total fertility rate, which is nothing but the average number of children that would be born to a woman by the time she is ending her childbearing age. In 19 out of the 22 surveyed states, this total fertility rate is actually lower than the replacement level. So it means that a woman bore less than two children on average through her reproductive life. And India's population is actually stabilizing as per the TFR. So this is again a good news to an extent, but again it will have long-term consequences, like how China is witnessing a significant number of people in old age and they don't have a working age population. So this is the gist of this article.